How's it going, NPC Nation? Welcome back to a brand new video. This video I'm going to be talking about which Sly game is the best Sly game. So Sly 5 is still being rumored in the works, so we don't know if we're getting a 5th Sly. It's always going to be rumored. It's been rumored for like past 2-3 years, but these rumors now in 2022 are more legit. I'm guessing. I'm not gonna believe anything until I see a trailer until Sony drops a trailer for Sly 5, or the company that's gonna make Sly 5, which is rumored not to be Sucker Punch. But if they do drop a trailer for Sly 5, I'll believe it. But today we're gonna be talking about Sly 1 to 4 because today I'm gonna be ranking the best Sly Cooper games in my opinion. I saw videos of this already. Someone talking about all 4 Sly Cooper games and how good they are and which one's the best. And a lot of people in the community are doing that because of all of the Sly 5 rumors. Well, I'm going to be doing that today because I love Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper is one of my favorite video game series of all time. A lot of people agree that Sly 2 is the best Sly Cooper game of all time, but I'm going to tell you why I think about all the games and which game I think is the best. It's most likely gonna be Sly 2, but I want to talk about all the games because I love all 4 of them. Fourth one had some faults. Third one had some faults, but there's always gonna be a sequel. Games will always have a sequel that's not the best and not do as well with the fans or the community. So Sly 1, gameplay, good. Story's fantastic. It's a whole plot line of avenging the death of your family and ancestors. Parents, Sly's parents, if you don't know the story, Sly's parents get, taken out by the Fiendish Five. Sly the Thievius Raccoonus is stolen, and it's only stolen because Clockwork thinks without the Thievius Raccoonus, the Coopers are nothing. But it's not true, because the Thievius Raccoonus was... Even when the Coopers were first a thing in the caveman eras, there was no Thievius Raccoonus. So, the Thievius Raccoonus does not make great thieves. It takes great thieves, to quote Sly, to make the Thievius Raccoonus. So, it's a whole era of getting revenge. Beats Clockwork. Clockwork's gone. Sly 2, though. Clockwork parts are still intact because they're made out of some very strong metal. I think titanium or something, but it's never confirmed. But they're made out of very strong metal, and then Sly goes and collects the part. Claw Gang takes the parts. He gets them, beats Clockwork for a second time, and the Clockwork parts finally catch up with the ancient bird. And Sly 1, back to what I was talking about Sly 1, gameplay is great, story is great. I would rank it probably a 7 or 8 out of 10. Sly 2, gameplay is better, graphics better. You can't take just one hit. You have a health system now, and you're playing as the whole gang. That's why I said Sly Cooper and the gang, and so you play as... bringing in new characters, Bentley and Murray. You did play as Bentley and Murray in the first game and a little bit of Carmelita, but not a lot. You protected Murray, or you did the racing missions, were very wacky controls. I did not like those controls. And you did like a couple hacking missions with Bentley in the last mission, but in the last part of the game at Russia when you're fighting Clockwork. But now, the whole game you play as Bentley and Murray. So, the Murray and Bentley are finally in the field. Sly 2's ending was very sad. Murray wasn't strong enough, blames himself, break up. They haven't been apart since childhood. And Bentley is now in a wheelchair. Sly 2, I would give probably a higher rating, probably 10 out of 10 for just story alone. Story was a big twist, and you thought the main villain was going to be Arpeggio this whole time. At the end, it was not. The last Claw Gang member was secretly Neela, who betrays him, Interpol, and everyone else that she helped, even the Cooper Gang. So I would give it a 10 out of 10. Now, we go into the third Sly Cooper game, which they didn't give Sucker Punch credit where credit's due. They didn't have a lot of time to work on this game. Not at all. They didn't have no time at all. It was a year apart from 2004 to 2005 when Sly 3 came out. So a year was not a lot of time from when two games released. They just tried to release it as quick as possible because they wanted to work on other things. And congratulations to them, but the game, the story went downhill from there, I think. It's like Cooper Vault never mentioned in the first two games. Ancestors mentioned all four games. Where did the Cooper Vault come from? How did he learn about it? He learned about it through McSweeney. But the thing is, why is he going after it? To put his legacy in there. Duh. But the thing is, we don't learn about it until the third game when we could learn about it in the first game. I don't know where Sucker Punch is coming from this, but there's also, they only had a year to work on it. Story was kind of confusing. Dr. M's final boss fight, was kind of dull. It was alright. You did get to play with new characters, though. It wasn't just the main three, Sly, Bentley, and Murray. The Guru was involved. They should have gave him subtitles, at least. And then, you had Sly 1 villains coming back, Mugshot came back, you beat him again. Then, Panda King comes back, he's good now. He joins you. Sly 2 villains come back, well, just Dimitri, and he joins you. So there's a whole new gang, and you have all these new people. Penelope, who was a villain, comes back, joins you. The story is okay. Gameplay is fantastic. The gameplay is still the same. I'm not really rating on the gameplay alone. I'm rating it on the story. The story was kind of confusing because it was a flashback. It starts at the end, which not a lot of people love that games do that, but it did. It started at the end, which, in my opinion, it was alright that it did that. But I don't like games spoiling the end. But with Sly 3, it was rushed. So I still give credit where it's credit due. It's just still a good game. The bosses are not as iconic as Sly 1, 2, and 4. Because you really don't have that much to work with in Sly 3 bosses. You have Octavio, Opera Dude. He's just there. He ruins the tar. He's a mafioso. Then you have a mask. So you fight Giant Carmelita. And then you have... What was the third boss? I know you have the parrot. The pirate dude. You have him. The smartest man in the 7 Seas. You have Dr. M. And you have the Black Baron. That's what I'm talking about. The Black Baron. So... the Black Baron, who becomes Penelope anyways, who is Penelope this whole time, really wasn't the best thing. I would give it probably just a 5 or 6. I know I gave Sly 2 10 out of 10, because Sly 2 is just great. So memorable. Everyone loves that series. Is it the best, though? It has to be between Sly 2 or 4. Let's get into 4. 4, I love it. I love it. The only flaw with 4 is the story was kind of slow, and the loading times. Mostly the loading times. The story was fantastic. The gameplay was fantastic, and I love that we have a mini-map now. Collectibles are back. Sly 3 got rid of collectibles. New developer, Sanzaro Games, who is now a Oculus game company for Meta or Facebook, whatever you want to call them. I call them Facebook. For Facebook now. They made that game. They also made the trilogy for Sly 3 in 2011. And then for Sly 1, 2, and 3, 2011, they made the trilogy. The Sly Cooper Collection, which I think should get remastered. Or Sly 5 is going to hopefully happen, or they're going to do Sly 1 again for remaster that for the 20th anniversary. But game is fantastic. The game, the colors, I love the new animation, I love how it looks. The collectibles, I'm glad that's back. There's more collectibles. Ancestors. The ancestors that they mentioned from Sly 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They kept mentioning all the ancestors. They've kept with a theme. You get to play as the notable ones like Tennessee Cooper, Ryuichi. You get to also play as Sir Galuf, Bob Cooper, which was never mentioned into Sly 4. You got to go all the way back in time. It was a great game. The final boss fight with Le Paradox was not that good. It was just like the Dr. M fight. It was very dull. It was mostly quick time events, which I didn't like. But they also made motion controls, because motion controls on the PS3 was a thing, so he stuck with that. It was a good game. The twist ending should never happened. If Cesaro was just legit bought out and then dipped, they should never did the Egypt thing. If they did, they should have released it before Cesaro dipped and went to Facebook. But Sly 4 has to be up there with Sly 2. I think Sly 4 should have been the how Sly 3 was, but we didn't get that. But I love the time travel aspect. I love how we get to play as the ancestors. I love Tennessee Kid. I love all the new Canes. Sir Galuf was good. He was more like a medieval Sly, like Sly Guy's climbing ability from him and Bob. Most of it was good. Quick time events and motion controls. Motion controls kind of made me mad in that game, but it was such a good game. It just had some flaws, like loading times sucked. I could go get a whole drink and still be loading. I legit tested that theory when I played it on PS3. I got a snack and it was still loading. So Sly 4, I'll still give it like a 9 for gameplay and story wise, but loading times probably would have lowered that down. I would probably give it a 9 or 8.5. Why higher than Sly 3? Because Sly 3, it's a good game. Sucker Punch, I give it where it go. I give credit where credit's due, but it was rushed. We had a long time, a hiatus about Sly from 2005 from 2011 to 2014 for them to make that game. So they had at least 3 years, and they did a good job. I just wish it was. The story in the final boss fight should have been better. The other boss fights leading up to the final boss fight was good. The most annoying boss fight was Toothpicks. I hated him. The best boss fight, I think, was the first boss fight with El Jefe. I love El Jefe. And the Sly Cooper series with tigers. I don't understand it. A lot of tigers are bosses in that game. You had Sly 2, Rajan was a tiger. And then you had Sly 4, El Jefe is a tiger. So I don't know if Sly Cooper just hates tigers or something. A lot of 2 bosses out of the 4 games are tigers. 3, because Neela was a tiger, so she was a boss. So 3 of the 4 games, there was 3 bosses out of the 4 games were tigers. They could have done the better ending and non-twist ending. I didn't really like the twist ending of Sly 4 where he's in Egypt. It doesn't really make sense to me, but they should have done something with that. They said they were going to, but then Facebook bought them up. They should have at least released a DLC. Sly gets out of Egypt, and then he's back in the normal world, but we'll find out. I don't know if they're going to continue. If they do a Sly 5, I don't know if they're going to continue with that. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, you did, press the share button, press the like button, press the red shiny subscribe button, press the bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. See you guys in the next video.